This is the Ezra breakdown of Devin Haney versus Lomachenko for the Undisputed Lightweight Championship. I'm going to do a little different this time. I just wanted you to know I'm sick as a dog doing this. I'm going to push through because I got to get a breakdown of this fight. To me, it's an anticipated fight. It kind of feels like, it's definitely not Tank Ryan, but I still feel like it's a very important fight. I feel like it's one of the best fights you could make in the lightweight division. I think that this fight the winner of this fight, to me, will be the best guy at lightweight. Resume-wise, not just belts, because I'm not the biggest person on belts, but resume-wise, I think this is the best guy in lightweight, whoever wins this fight. And if Devin Haney wins it, he will solidify himself as the best lightweight. If he was at 140, I think there's a good chance that Devin Haney wins this fight in the fashion a lot of people feel like he's going to win it. He proves one of the best fighters in the world. Now, I think that's come more into question as we got closer to this fight, and people got more doubt as we got closer to this fight. Let's go over why people feel that way, or what this fight could possibly look like, and what my final prediction will be for this fight. Now, to start off the fight, and to start off, let's get into the storyline of going into this fight. Now, I think Lomachenko has looked more beatable than ever. I think Lomachenko, people want to either say that he's getting older, or people now want to say that he's too small, actually, for lightweight. And he hasn't looked that impressive, like especially the fight against Jermaine Ortiz, which a lot of people thought that he possibly lost that fight. Now, I went back and scored that fight. I had it a draw, I had it 6-6. I think Jermaine Ortiz might be better than what people think. So that fight, that win might age better for him, because Jermaine Ortiz might do some things at lightweight, or he might do some things at 140. But right now, and what was going into that fight, what was expected Lomachenko to look like, it wasn't an impressive win, it wasn't an impressive performance, and it was something he kind of escaped by. A lot of people feel like he probably didn't deserve that win. Going into this fight now, Devin Haney is on top of the world. He's the complete opposite of what Lomachenko is. Devin Haney has worked his way up. He has proven himself. He has two absolute, to me, like just landslide victories over Kambosos in Australia, beat Jojo Diaz, beat Linares, and people feel like he had the hard way up and is taking all the challenges and going up the correct way and not skipping any steps. So I think people feel like Ryan Garcia skipped some steps to go to Tank. I think that people feel like Tank had a lot of gimmies and now is finally starting to take challenges later in his career. But Devin Haney, I don't think anyone is questioning that he's up for the challenge. And to me, a lot of people give a lot of credit to like the moves he makes, right? And the way his dad moves is that they make like really good business decisions. I don't think it's that hard for them, because I think they just think that they're better than everyone. So they're willing to fight everyone. And when you don't have to outthink the room because you think you can beat everyone in the room, it becomes very easy to make these decisions and look smart when you just think you're better than everyone. And that's what this fight is. This is a fight that a lot of people feel, oh, he should have went up and weight, shouldn't have waited for Lomachenko, or people feel like out of spite, he shouldn't have given Lomachenko the chance because all the years before, Lomachenko wasn't giving him the shot, right, for the belt. Now, that never made sense to me, because I think this is not only the most money fight that Haney could possibly get right now, but also because Lomachenko's still a very good win on the resume, and he's still a very good win at lightweight. So I think that it worked for Devin Haney in a lot of different ways. So I never understood like the spite aspect of it, but I think that people, mostly a lot of people are Devin fans, are kind of afraid that he might lose to Lomachenko, right? And he might lose because he's cutting so much weight, and they don't want Lomachenko to have that over him. So it's more of like a fan perspective, I think, where that comes from. Because I think as a boxing fan, just a fan in general, I think you want to see this fight and you want to see how it plays out, and you want Devin Haney to either pass the test, or you want to see why he doesn't pass the test. So what is this fight going to look like, right? I think the one thing I noticed about Lomachenko, and they call Lomachenko the Matrix and all those things, and he gets a lot of, I think he's overrated a little bit, right? Not even a little bit, a lot. I think Lomachenko is overrated a lot, but that doesn't mean he's not a good fighter. So the thing is that people don't know how to rate Lomachenko, because he's so overrated. People really underrate him, right? They go the complete opposite of the overrated, and that's what leads to, I think, confusion about how good Lomachenko really is. Because I think Lomachenko is very good. I think he's very good at certain things. I don't know if he's a matrix as far as like he picks apart styles, he sees all his openings. I'm not sure he does that. I think the more of his style is he does a pressure style. I think he has a style that he slowly starts to swallow you up with his foot movement, his placement, and his coordination. As an athlete, he's very coordinated. I don't know if he's an explosive athlete. I don't really think that, but I think he's a very coordinated athlete. Different type of athletes. And that's what I think Lomachenko is. And Lomachenko is very good as a guy that's going to be a pressure fighter, a guy that's going to go and put it on you. He can do a lot of things that not a lot of guys can do. He's very skilled at it. But when he meets athleticism, and how I just kind of describe Lomachenko is that he has all these highlights and stuff like that, but when he met superior athleticism, he couldn't do those things. So it doesn't look like that guy. And it kind of reminds me of Reggie Bush when he was in college. He had all these highlights, amazing highlights of doing amazing things, athletic things. But when it got to the NFL, that kind of slowed down because he started playing against athletes that everyone on the field was basically an equal or better athlete than him. So he couldn't find those highlights, right? He wasn't going to do the things he was doing in college against Lester at. And that's what Loma does. Against lesser competition, yes, he could look great. He could do amazing things. And then when he got to like guys like Tio, guys like Jermaine Ortiz, right? Who guys are athletes. A guy like Jermaine Ortiz, who isn't like the most skilled guy, but just an athletic guy, right? An explosive athlete. He couldn't do those things. He didn't look like the guy that was able to use all these angles to turn you around. And notice in the Bam's last fight, who fights a little bit like Lomachenko, uses the angles like him, is it now Bam when your opponent is coming after you, right? Like if you got a fighter like Lomachenko when you're fighting like Nakatani or Richard Comey, right? And they're planted, they're coming in on you planted, he can use all the angles around you. Because you're planted, he's like finding a punching bag. But if you're moving around and you can move back with him and you can match his things, well then Lomachenko's just kind of stuck. He's kind of just stuck going forward. He kind of took away all his angles. Kind of take away his effectiveness as a fighter, right? So Lomachenko's whole thing is, I'm gonna use all these angles, I'm gonna circle around you, I'm gonna do all these things, and I'm gonna create all these openings, but you can't do that anymore. So you can't create all those openings anymore, right? He just kind of comes forward. That's what he does. He's southpaw, so let's do this one. So you're kind of just coming forward, right? And you take away the dynamic. What makes him dynamic, what makes him a really good fighter is the ability to create angles, to be able to punch all those angles. So if you take that away, you really diminish him as a fighter. Devin Haney can take that away. Devin Haney's very good with his feet, right? Very good with the back step. Devin Haney's gonna step back, right? He's gonna take back step, and he's not gonna let you get in there, right? He's got very fast feet, and his hands work really good off those feet, and his jab works really good off that. So Lomachenko's gonna be chasing, but he's gonna be a step behind, and he's not gonna be able to jump in and create all those angles, things that make him dynamic. He's gonna become more of a basic fighter. Devin Haney's gonna beat a basic fighter. When Devin Haney is at full energy, he's gonna beat him, right? He's gonna beat him because he's very good with combinations. The thing I described Devin Haney is a guy that fights with two swords in his hand. He doesn't have a shield. He fights with two swords. He's so talented and so gifted that his defense is basically his athleticism. His defense is his reaction, right? So if he's gonna come in and hit you, then move his head back, right? Come in and hit you, take a step back, jab you, right? That's what he's gonna do. And Lomachenko's gonna have problems with that early, no doubt about it. Now, the biggest thing I think early to decide how this fight's gonna look late, because that's what a lot of these fights come down to. And I feel like I kind of repeat myself a lot of times in these breakdowns, but it really do come down to what's the second half gonna look like. And you're gonna tell what this second half is gonna look like in this fight by what the first half looks like. And the first half is gonna be either Devin Haney, how he worked against Kambosos, right? Who Kambosos to me is a limited fighter who got a good win against Tio, but I don't believe that consistently in his career he's gonna look like that, right? Or he's gonna have wins like that. But against Kambosos, all he had to do was jab. He's had a jab and move. Didn't have to waste a lot of energy in that fight. Because he didn't have to waste a lot of energy, he got to preserve it going the whole fight. He looked great the whole fight. Because his legs were never tired. He never had to use a lot of combination. He never put a lot of energy. He never had to do sprints. Got to fight a controlled pace in that fight. Against Lomachenko, right, Lomachenko's going to have to make Devin Haney work. That means that Lomachenko's going to have to make Devin Haney score, right? So that means that Devin Haney's not just going to jab him and move. Jab him, move, dance around the ring. He's not going to just do that. He's got to make Devin Haney jab, feel the pressure, miss a jab, then I'm going to have to combo and hook you, right? Get used to sprinting, right? And then as he sprints, he uses energy to move, really make him sprint. Then at the second half of the fight, Devin Haney might start wearing down. And this is the key part, right? I don't think it's going to be that long of a breakdown because there's just key parts to this and you could get to it right away. Devin Haney, when he's full energy, can combo off you, can make you miss, can stay in there, can get in, make you miss, hit you again, and then get out, right? So full energy. Full energy, Devin Haney is an elite fighter, one of the best in the world, might be the best in the world. But in the second half, and if Lomachenko makes him do sprints, right? Lomachenko makes him work. In the second half of the fight, then Devin Haney will begin to slow down. And when he doesn't have the same energy, doesn't have the same ability to sprint, his technique isn't the best. And as his technique diminishes, as he gets tired, he becomes more hittable. He's not able to get out of certain spots that he was able to get out in the first half. He's not able to get off the same speed with his punches. He definitely stays in there more. He plants his feet more. Devin Haney will jump in there. And then what was working before, right? He was the lead left hook, boom. What was working before, now he's not pulling away. He's not pulling far away enough to not get hit. So now he's getting caught with shots. Now the little slips and everything ain't there. And then Devin Haney starts doing this. Here, and starts going this way, right? So he's in here, he's jabbing, and now he's here. Now he's stuck. And a guy like Lomachenko starts seeing stuff like that, and you start slowing down, then Lomachenko starts becoming dynamic. You're not moving around the ring like you once were. So now Lomachenko starts becoming Lomachenko. He starts doing the things he's best at. But that's only if Lomachenko can make him work. Now, how's Lomachenko going to make him work? It's pressure. It's not pressure maybe with punches, but it's pressure. It's a distance pressure, right? It's a pressure in range. It's a range pressure. So Lomachenko's constantly on him. I'm in high guard, move my head, can't jab me, and I'm constantly on you. So Haney can never settle in. Haney can, he's got to move, he's got to punch, he's got to react, he's got to sprint out of the spots, right? Lomachenko's going to have to give a lot of pressure. He's going to be able to, he's going to have to be able to take shots on his gloves and a little bit off his head. That's the honest truth. He's got to take some shots early, but make Devin Haney work, right? Because you can't just have Devin Haney comfortable in this fight. It can't be the Teo fight, where Teo is just able to throw 1 or 2 punches at a time to keep you off the whole fight. He cannot respect Devin Haney's power. He's got to get in there and make Devin Haney work early. If he makes Devin Haney work early, then he's going to have a much more Devin Haney that's easier to find, a Devin Haney that gets stuck there, Devin Haney that's technique is not as great as the fight goes on. If you look at the Jojo Diaz fight, Devin Haney, and a lot of times you'll hear things like this. Oh, Devin Haney just wanted to be more entertaining in that fight. Well, that's not true, because in the first part of it, he fought like a classic Devin Haney fight. In Leonar's fight, the first part, it kind of felt like a classic Devin Haney fight. Why he gets more stuck inside in that is because he's tired. It's because the guys are making him waste a lot of energy. And in that fight, Jojo Diaz started catching him. He started catching him in between combos, they started exchanging, and Jojo Diaz will get the better of the exchanges at times. Now, Lomachenko isn't the hardest hitting guy, but he has some pop. He does definitely have some pop. And if he's able to really sit and plant on his shots and set you up with the shots he wants to set you up with, he could really do some damage. So what the second half of this fight's going to look like, if Devin Haney is forced to work in the beginning of the fight, is Devin Haney more planted, more staying in, and Lomachenko being able to work. And the key thing I want to talk about when Lomachenko does, if Haney does get tired, Lomachenko's able to keep up with him. One thing that Lomachenko does is his front foot, right? And he's going to work off the jab, right? So he's going to work off the jab. So he's going to step. When Sotis fires, the guy's full of energy and he's athletic and has some pop. Lomachenko is very tentative. He won't make the move. He will not make the move. He'll be paused. He gets stuck, and he gets stuck at this range. And then if the guy goes, he just ends up defending and backing up, right? Get out of the spot. He's actually a very cautious fighter. He doesn't fight. He doesn't punch unless things are perfect for him. Some guys will take chances, believe in their stuff, and that's not Lomachenko. Lomachenko's not gonna take chances. He's only gonna place his shots when he feels like he's in the correct distance. So what happened when fighters get tired, just happened to Jermaine Ortiz, is he would just front foot. He just bounce with his front foot. I'm bouncing with front foot, trying to test you, right? Test you, and then he wants you to draw all the jabs. So when the guy jabs him, he takes a step back and then steps right back in with his jab or a straight right. Because he knows you're tired, you're not gonna be able to jab and get all the way out. You're not jab and pull out or jab and cut the angle. You're tired, right? Jermaine Ortiz was tired, so he jabbed. And then Lomachenko takes a step back, follow him, and put Jermaine Ortiz against the ropes, right? A lot of times Jermaine Ortiz didn't have to really let Lomachenko in. Jermaine Ortiz would be here, they'd be looking at each other. Lomachenko was not moving in. Lomachenko was too cautious. He couldn't find the spot. So Jermaine Ortiz be here. And then Jermaine Ortiz, just because out of, a bad ring IQ, would just kind of, okay, and then just kind of work his way to the ropes for no reason. And he let Lomachenko in. You didn't have to do that. I don't think Haney will do that. But when Haney's tired and he doesn't have the same legs and he's not going to be able to bounce out, Lomachenko's going to be looking to draw him in with front step, Haney jab. And if Haney can't get out like he was, then he's going to be stuck here. Jab, and he's going to be planted here. Loma's going to look to respond for that. And that's when he might get going. That's just one of the tactics he might use as he kind of slows down Haney and Haney doesn't have the same legs anymore. I filmed this whole thing and I forgot that little segment. I wanted to make sure I threw it in. And Lomachenko will be able to get on the inside more. And now then it's going to become a battle of the clinch, right? It's Devin Haney who's the bigger man. We all know that. That's the whole story going in this fight, how big he is. Is his clinch going to be able to dominate Lomachenko's, right? Is his clinch going to be able to stop Lomachenko from working? Now, a lot of people are saying that Devin Haney's big, so the clinch is going to be more effective for him. Not sure that's the case. You see a lot of cases where Lomachenko is pretty good in the clinch, right? He has techniques like in some sambo wrestling, right? And sometimes those things can apply. And I think that if Haney is definitely tired and has fatigue, he's not going to be that effective in the clinch. And if he wraps up like this and he's trying to, I think Lomachenko's going to be able to turn him and make him pay for those things. And if he turns him and makes him pay for the thing, I think it's going to get very interesting late. It just all depends on at what point these things are happening. The sooner, if we get to the 6th round, Lomachenko starts touching him, looks really good for Lomachenko. If it takes around the 8th round, it's probably a little bit too late for Lomachenko to get going, right? And is Devin Haney going to be able to catch a second win at some point of this fight? So the way I see it is I think Devin Haney's going to build a big lead in this fight. I think he's going to look very effective, but I do think he's going to have to work. And I think he's going to have to move around. I think he's going to have to fight in sprints. So I do expect the second half from Lomachenko, but I don't think that it's going to come as soon as the 6th round. I don't. I think that around the 8th round, he'll start being more effective. 9th round, start being more effective. And maybe the 10th, 11th, having big rounds. But maybe just a little bit too late in the scorecards, and maybe a little bit too late to get enough damage to kind of go for the stoppage against Haney. I think Haney will sit and exchange with him. It doesn't necessarily mean just because he gets slowed down doesn't mean that he's going to lose all these exchanges, because Devin Haney still bit down his mouthpiece and wants some exchanges against Jojo Diaz late, like in the 12th round. So you're going to see in this fight, I think you're going to see some vulnerabilities with Devin Haney, but there's some things that he could really prove in this fight. Now, if he has to find a sprint early, and he's able to do that over 12 rounds, I think when Devin Haney's at full energy and full energy and full stamina, I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. If he can prove that he can do that over 12 rounds against a guy like Lomachenko, he might be one of the best fighters in the world. And it might, to me, I think Tank's the best guy at 135. But if Haney proves this against Lomachenko, I think I might have to really rethink that, right? If Haney is able to really school Lomachenko, the fight's not close, and he keeps up that pace the whole fight, then the one thing that I think he's vulnerable at, I would kind of have to take away. Now, the next thing is durability, right? A lot of people would question Haney's durability because of Linares' fight. Some people feel like he's kind of rocking his Jojo Diaz at times. So that's another thing we're going to prove in this fight. And I think that Lomachenko has enough pop to really test that. And if Haney's never, at any point in this fight, in Loma lands, he's never really hurt or rocked, I think we could start moving that from our list, right? Another thing I want to talk about is the talent level. Now, I know for sure that this is Haney's best opponent he's faced. I don't know this is Loma's best opponent he's faced. People ask me who. I think Gary Russell was a very high-level opponent. I think Nicholas Walters was a very good opponent. And I think Teofimo was a very good opponent at that time when he faced him. Now, Haney could be better than all that. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying he isn't, I'm just saying that we don't know for sure that he is. And that's the important thing, is that guys have to pass the test. Until that point, you're a mystery door fighter. I don't know how really good you are. You could be the best in the world, or you can't. I haven't seen you at that level. So first time we're gonna see Haney at that level. I know what Loma is, because I've seen him at that level numerous times, and I see how he performed. I don't know what Haney is. So we're gonna find out what Haney is. And we're gonna find out the highlights we see and everything are still effective against a guy at that level. My prediction for this fight, I'm gonna pick Haney, unanimous decision. I think that he's gonna dominate the early rounds. I think that he is gonna have to work, but I think it's gonna start off too late for Loma. I think Loma's gonna be interesting from 8 to 11. Will be very interesting. I think Haney will be able to catch second win. I think he'll win some of the exchanges. I don't think he's gonna lose every round in that portion, but I think Loma will go on a late run in this fight. He'll have some effectiveness, but Haney will be the clear winner by decision. I think it's a very good fight. I think it's a very entertaining fight. It's gonna be a very interesting fight, but it's all gonna be about pacing. Is Loma gonna make Haney work? And if Haney works, he's gonna be able to keep up that pace throughout the whole fight. I think he will. I think that's gonna start generate a lot of buzz for Haney versus Tank. And we're gonna see if Haney's really a free agent after this fight, because it's gonna be very interesting how he moves after this fight. Thank you. It's been the Ezra Breakdown.